DCR's father passed away this morning.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're live. We're live.
Can't be live, can we? Are we? We are. You know what? We've been talking, and we got caught short. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to everybody. Welcome to Set the Trend podcast, live Saturday night live. We're here. Your boys are back. Sorry, we're just doing some posting like while we talk to you guys. Very unprofessional, but please forgive us. Right, we're here with the boys, Mr. Eastender, Reggie Styles. We are back in the building.
In the building.
How are you, Eastender?
I'm
How
good.
you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks. Quite happy to be back here on Set the Trend. New time, Saturday night live. Hey, good. It's good to be here. I'm good.
What have you been up to?
Good question. What have I been?
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Not much. Not much. Relaxing.
The last live, the last live that we had was it 2 weeks before Christmas or something like that? Or 3 weeks, something like
that.
Yes, it was like. So
yeah,
what you?
December.
So that's why I'm asking.
No, so I've just really been chilling, really been relaxing, reading books, watching the telly, and doing a bit of streaming on Facebook, doing a Tuesday night Facebook live stream, doing what I like best, playing music. Yeah.
Go into the early hours of the morning. You're going to about 2 o'clock now, isn't it? It was originally 10 till 12, wasn't it?
10 till 12, but
now you've got an extension from like the missus, and now you're doing 2 o'clock.
I've got an extension from the audience. They keep saying, I've noticed that when you say you're finishing at 12, they say, no, go on another hour. And then when you give them another hour, they say they want more. So
yeah, I know. Yes, I can relate to that, being a radio DJ. That happens sometimes.
I haven't seen you on any lives yet, Reg.
Nah, just been haven't sorted out I need to get a ring light. Once I get a ring light, obviously I'm a beautiful dark skinned person, so I need a special light to enhance my features.
You mean handsome, dear, don't you?
That's
you mean,
it.
Yeah. You do.
Anyway, kushe everybody. Happy New Year, me no die or tell good thank you. Sorry. I'm still in African mode, mate.
Happy New Year, Rich.
Yes, sir.
Reg, you're going to keep the chat rooms going for us. If there's anything, if people do comment and do come in the chat rooms, you're going to keep us
indeed. I shall do.
Cool. So, welcome. Got East. You was going to say?
Yeah, Reggie. Like before we kick into it, Reggie was in Sierra Leone for New Year's.
Yes.
How was that?
That was an amazing experience, fantastic experience. So good to be back in the motherland, touching down, smelling the lovely, beautiful air. The heat hits you when you come out of the plane, and then just seeing the beautiful people of Sierra Leone was just great, amazing. I loved it.
Did they see you as? Did they see you as one of your own, or did they see you as British?
Nah, they knew I was a freshie. Basically, they called them. We're called JCs. They said they're JC down there. so that's basically it. So yeah, they knew straight away. So but I just chopped as per usual when you land in Lungi Airport in Sierra Leone, chop a couple Leones here and there, and you're all right. You know what I mean?
Right. Anyway, glad to see that you guys are all right and had a great time over the festive season, even in tier four lockdown.
It would only be wrong, like, not to ask you, like, what you've been up to and how you've been.
It would be wrong. So welcome. We're in 2021. Welcome to tier 4, and we're in the vaccine zone. Yeah, we're definitely in the vaccine zone today. A lot has happened at the start of this year. We've got a lot to get through. We have our guests today, Simon SOULGIGS and Orlando GITTENS will be coming on later on in the show about 15:15, and we will be talking to them about the state of play in terms of the industry, in terms of live artists, in terms of business, and we're looking forward to another second half of the year probably, but we'll see. We'll talk to them. We'll see what plans they got, what they've been up to. We talked to Orlando Gittens last year around about April, end of April, May, and we know we made a lot of money on face masks since. So we'll talk to him about his business. And I remember he had some plans to be doing his weekenders and everything else. So we'll be talking to those two gentlemen about that. So we really appreciate that they've given their time to come on and talk about that. And that's what we're going to be talking about. We've got every week from Saturday 10 to 11:15 should I say, we will be here with Saturday Night Live, right here talking to aficionados in the game. Next week we have Basil Links from Pempanzi. He will be here, and also alongside former right-hand man to Ken to the mayor of London,
Ken Livingston.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Lee Jasper.
Lee Jasper will be here next week, and we'll be talking about the state of play with music, black businesses, and how we can get hold of the money. So if you're out there as a black business, how can you access money? Because there's a lot of grants being given out, and we just don't want you guys to be falling short. And we'll also be talking with Lee about music, because he's into music. And Basil is one of our promoters as well. So we'll be talking about him and about Pempanzi. He's been doing a lot of trade within this time, especially with health and health being your wealth. And we'll be talking to him about that. So we've got the next 2 weeks sorted. And the week after that, we have a special guest, DJ Yardi will be in the building, as well as from Baseline Hot 97.9 FM. We'll have him live. Why you do that? We'll have him live right here, talking about Baseline FM as well, finishing off the story to G Money. Of course, DJ Yardi was the second owner, should I say, after G.
After G Money.
You know what I mean? It's passed on the baton. So, before we do that, there's a new president and vice president of the United States of America, President Biden and Kamala Harris, vice president of she's black, Indian, and something else, isn't she? If I remember.
No, she's black and South Asian. She's Jamaican and South Asian. Get it right.
That's right. All of those. So well done. And they're getting off signing executive orders, and that's why we're back. We're one of the executive orders. Even from America, they just want us back.
And while we're on the subject of that, let's celebrate also the 22-year-old Amanda Gordon, who gave a fantastic speech at the inauguration.
Youngest poet laureate.
Yes.
Yeah. Poet laureate. Amazing. Did you see the stats? That was just insane, crazy.
Oh yeah, I did.
Nice to see you. Yeah, I think.
I think they want us to make sure they know that the backroom team are in the building. The backroom producers are there. You know what I mean? So welcome back to them as well. Sorry, Reg.
Yeah, her stats were amazing, mate. I mean, like her followership went up by something like 1,000%, and her book went straight to #1 on Amazon. I think it's 1, 2, and 3, isn't it?
And the book's not out till the book's not been released yet. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think she's got some books. I think previous books they all went to #1, 2, and 3 on the book chart online. So that's just as to show how powerful she was, and she definitely resonated with a lot of us who were watching. Actually, so
she said that she actually got her mojo back when they stormed the Capitol, because she was stuck for words, and once they stormed the Capitol, her juices just started flowing and she started writing. So well done, Donald Trump.
And she's left us with some inspirational quotes. There was always light if we're only brave enough to see it, and if we're only brave enough to be it. When you get a chance, just think of those words and look into it and say, there's it's a positive message.
Although she might have got that from Tunde, because Tunde Ajayi, see it, believe it, become it.
Yeah, well, that's another positive one.
She was watching, man. Set the trend is global, worldwide.
That's another good one. But yes.
Right. So those things are going. Another somber moment for us. We've had a few people's deaths who have touched us this week. First person that comes to mind is Michael Renee from MJR RMP Promotions. an outright legend of the game, of the business.
Indeed.
Probably most known for Caribbean Weekender, although you might say MJR, but Caribbean Weekender is his gold mine, is his 2.5+ people that he has once a year. Originally was in Great Yarmouth. Originally was somewhere before that when he first started it in the early 90s. And then he went to Southport. We've been at Southport for the last, 5 or 6 years. And he died unexpectedly last Sunday. He popped into my live in the morning. He's a gentleman that always visited people's chats, always saw what was going on, and always kept himself up to breast with everything. He's going to be sorely missed in the industry. Big hole, big shoes to fill for anybody who thinks that they want to try and do that.
Big time.
100%. And when you hear people speak about him, it's very rare that you get, a gentleman where other people make comments about you, and it's always nice things, always positive. Oh,
you're there.
What happened there?
It's your phone ringing, is it?
Oh,
Reg?
Yeah, somebody's phone's ringing. It's not me. Yeah. I don't have that. I don't have such a basic ringtone, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Michael Rennie, sorry.
Sorry.
Reg, do you want to pick up on that?
Yeah, great guy. He came down to Streatham Soul Club a couple of times and, enjoyed and took in the atmosphere and, was very quiet. Like, you wouldn't even know he was in the building. And, he's done some great things as part of MJR as well. So shouts out to Jigs and Robert. And, it's a great loss for the entire music industry and a lot of people who remember, although I'm African, I went on quite a few Caribbean trips, which he actually organised. So, it is definitely a great loss to the industry.
And also our condolences go out to the family, and also probably the most famous member of the family is Father Tubbies, King Tubbies, Cecil, and I know he will be gutted, and so will the boys, Brownie, Robert, D Brown. I know they will be really gutted because he always used to call them his boys. So, you know what I mean? I know they'll be gutted. So that was one death this week. And we'll be doing our very own tribute to Mikey MJR in the weeks to come. We'll be having our very own tribute to him right here on Set the Trend. We can't let him go like that. So we're going to have a talk about him exclusively for a whole program. So keep it locked.
Yeah.
For that. Also, this week, Hayden Nelson, Vibert Nelson's brother from GQ, passed away. And Hayden, a lot of you will know Hayden. He used to do the doors at First Friday for years down in Holborn. He used to be the main security detail for First Friday. He used to do some other places as well, but he passed away unexpectedly. So our hearts goes out to the Nelson family as well. Vibert's having a hard time of it as well. He's in hospital. I think everybody knows that. And he's on COVID, on his trying to fight his way out of it. And he's doing a sterling job. But if you could keep him in your thoughts and prayers, it would be much appreciated by family and friends and loved one. Also this week, Trevor Curry, former British heavyweight champion. He was a local lad. Came from Lewisham. He passed away unexpectedly yesterday, I think. And he not only was he a trailblazer in terms of boxing, for us as well, he used to also be security and was for Saxon back in the day. And I'm sure he was at Lucius Club as well, Paradise Garage. He was there as well. I see him on the doors a couple of times as well down there. And he was for all that he was not only a fighter, not only a great champion, but he was also someone who had time for you. You know what I mean? And he was, he had time for you to talk to and everything else. So it's been a
hard one.
It's been a sad week. And before that, we had someone else of our culture that went, who was Tyrone from Wired for Sound. Again, Tyrone used to sell the most records to a lot of the sound systems and DJs over there in North London or East London?
East London,
mate. Yeah.
And it was a place where we also was born was Super D, and also Pioneer used to work in the shop. DJ Pioneer used to work upstairs as well as, and also Foreplay, Major. No, not Major. You have a Foreplay.
Alton.
No, his name. The one who plays the music and does the remixes, but he'll know who I'm talking about. Anyway, everybody know I'm talking about. He used to work in there.
Angel.
Babyface Angel. So, so yeah, it's been a hard time. Everybody just keep safe. Please just be careful out there. You've got to manage your risks, and you've got to be careful. And we will, and we have and it's not. We just say it's not everybody dying of COVID. Some are just dying of natural causes.
And quite a few people are recovering though as well, Ray.
They are. You know, we have one. We have one here.
And CK Flash. Respect CK Flash.
Yeah, but he wasn't in hospital though. I think EastEnder was in there for 4 weeks, and he had a severe.
Yeah.
I thought.
Thought you're gonna lose me.
Yeah, we did. Hey. The first time I spoke to EastEnder while he was in the hospital, I phoned him and said, well, "You ain't dead yet."
After that comment, I nearly died.
Because obviously he couldn't talk. He had the you were still kind of finding it hard to breathe, isn't it?
I was still finding it hard to breathe. I was getting better, and when you said that, I laughed, and then I realized I couldn't laugh, and I said to you, the first thing I said to you, no jokes.
You know what? It just goes to show that we've got to definitely take this thing very seriously, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all.
It's not a joke. So please manage it, though. I understand some people. You still have to live your day by day, and there's some risks that you have to take. Coming out your house is a risk. Going shopping is a risk, but those are still things that we have to take. And also, Cheryl from We Love Rare Groove. As well. Mummy Sheila. So big up to Mummy Sheila and Miss Barrett as well. Condolences to all the family there.
And anyone else who's
lost somebody,
who's lost someone, or is going through a hard time. It's not easy. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And I can speak for all three of us. If anyone is out there and they haven't got someone to speak to and they want to speak to someone, we're available. We're available. Just give us a call and we'll have a conversation with you. Just to get your mind off the negativity that's out there. I see Raymond smiling.
No, I mean it's about you've got to keep positive, and that's one of the things. And also, before we go to our first guest, our only guest today, our prestigious guest, we have created a Spotify Valentine's playlist. I Set the Trend Spotify Valentine's playlist, where the three of us and one of the producers have added his love songs to. And wow.
The producer's bedroom specials.
Wow. Anyway, he's definitely in love again, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there in this one.
What we got to tell our audience before you say that, you got to be nice to the producer now, because behind the back screen, he's got some gadgets and he's got some stuff that if you misbehave, he's going to come at you. So be nice to him.
He needs to be. I'm always nice to our producer. I'm always nice to our producers. Always nice. Anyway, let's get the show going. Thank you all. If you're on Facebook, thank you for being part of this this week. Thank you for taking part in it. In the chat room, please put your questions in that. Reggie's going to be reviewing them, and we're going to be asking. Share and like. If you can share and like, that'd be great. And if you can also go onto our YouTube page and follow our YouTube page as well, where anything that we do, because we also do our talks, our reviews. We have our special guests on that we talk about the culture, street sounds culture, and the wider culture of the street sounds, everything that's affected by the street sounds we have those guests on, and we got some great guests to come for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of it. You ready to go, lads?
Ready and waiting.
100% ready, like Freddie.
Right. Our first guest, Orlando Gittens, Giants of Lovers Rock. He was Giants of Rare Groove.
Yes, we were.
He was. I don't know what happened there. We might ask him. If you've ever been to an Halen Island Weekender, two of them. He has two of them a year. And he's got his new baby, South Coast Weekender, that he'll be talking to us about. He's also a record producer and manager, label owner. He used to manage Wayne Marshall, and he was also the owner of Soul Town Records, one of our UK British record platforms back in the day in the 90s. So, Orlando Gittens, sir, where are you?
Hey,
Hey,
master.
That's good. We like to see that you're taking it seriously, walking with your mask,
bags bare in hand. Yes, we're here, bro. We're here.
And that's not a background. That's not a virtual background. That's a live background behind you.
Yeah, I'm in Barbados. Yeah.
You're in Barbados.
Yeah. But it's not, well, my wife's father's died, so we're there for the funeral and to make the arrangements. So
sorry to hear that.
Not,
sorry to hear that.
It's not one of those things again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So, how's it been for you, Orlando?
You know, it's been a whirlwind, isn't it, for the last year? It's been an unbelievable year, and I was optimistically hoping that the beginning of the new year would be slightly different, and then they dropped in the variant, and then it's just an extension of what was going on for last year. But I'm still optimistic that by the last half of the year we'll be back to some form of normality.
All right. Well, we're going to talk to you more about that. Before we do that, let's get our other big hitter. We've got two big hitters in the on the lawn, as they say these days. You know what I mean? On the lawn these days. On the lawn. We have two big hitters. Simon SOULGIGS. He is a live UK promoter, live artist promoter.
Concert promoter.
He champions neo soul, champions the new style of music, but he also brings artists such as Tweet, Teja Moses, PJ Morton, Ladisi, Anthony Johnson, just to name a few artists that he's had on his shows at the Jazz Cafe, various venues around London and country and Europe. And he's here today to talk about the business. So welcome another big hitter in the business, another prestigious promoter. Welcome, Simon SOULGIGS. First time to Set the Trend live. How are you, sir? If you take your off mute, he's going to get to his off mute button in a minute.
You're on mute, can't hear you.
Off mute, can't hear you.
That's the one.
And it was all right when we was doing it like behind the scenes, you know. He was doing his mic button before.
He was doing it.
There he is. There he is.
Yeah, Grand Designs.
How are you, sir?
Can you hear us, Simon?
Can you hear? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good, gentlemen. I'm good. Thank you very much. I don't have such an exotic background like Orlando. it's just me and my records.
He's in Barbados and you're in Hackney.
I'm there or thereabouts, but you know, I'm well, and you know, just listening back to, you know, all of the people that have lost their lives in the last few weeks that we know that are very close to home. I mean, literally, I do say it to people all the time when people reach out to me and stuff. You know, I'm grateful to be here. It's obviously a terrible time, and you know, it saps up a lot of energy just trying to keep that positivity up. You know, because everything's very much doom and gloom at the moment. But
so Simon,
to catch up with you guys, this is the highlight of my weekend.
Yeah, that's good, Simon. Simon, how have you been staying positive though?
Do you know what? I've actually launched a number of new initiatives. Like, I'm a person that needs to keep busy, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe that's been one of the things that live music has done to me for the last few years. Like, I'm constantly on the go. I wouldn't say I'm hyperactive, but if I'm sat still, I need something to engage me. So what's kept me a little bit sane, I've launched, I'm doing an online magazine in a couple of months' time. Well, beginning of March. I've set up a PR branch to what I'm doing to promote artist music. I've set up a trending list as well. So all of these things have kept me super busy, and I think, you know, I need that distraction, to be honest with you, because like I say, if I just keep the telly on, I literally have to switch off sometimes because it's so negative.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Was the live artist shows, was that one of your main incomes, or was that a supplementary business to your main 9 to 5?
Yeah, it's lucky for me, supplementary. Because if it had been my sole source of income, well, I would have had to do a crowdfunder, a charity page. I mean, I don't know what I would have done. Because I would be literally going to family to ask for charity if that was my sole source of income. Because obviously, it's interesting. My last show was Rasan Patterson, I believe, on the 16th and 17th of March. As you will know, the government shut us down on 2 days later on the 20th of March. And funnily enough, I was supposed to have Will Downing on Monday, I think might have been the 24th. So he was literally going to come in a few days later, and everything just stopped. So
big up Will.
You know, luckily, it's yeah.
So you actually had the last live show in London. Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
And that was and who was that? Oh, that was Rashan.
Yeah. I mean, we had, you know, some people weren't happy that it was going ahead. And some people were happy for it to be going ahead, you know. But the thing was at the time, because, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, go.
Yeah. But because the government were differing, unfortunately, at the time in terms of making a decision, the artists had already travelled from the States. So I was left in a very difficult position that, well, they're here, I've got to pay for everything, so we're going to have to do the show. You know, but you know, yeah, it's testing times.
And was the artist happy to perform?
The artist was actually fine. Maybe some of the accompanying traveling crew weren't as happy. They wanted to get off and go back on an airplane. But actually, I have to say, Rasan was fantastic. Actually, he wanted to get the job done and go home.
Great artist. Very,
it was a great gigger, I've been told.
Yeah. Somebody just said,
if anyone hasn't,
go on, Simon.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, if anyone hasn't seen Rasan live, I mean, you know, one of the best vocally, no question about that.
Sorry, Reggie, you was about to say?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, somebody's already mentioned and put in the Facebook chat and the chat online saying that the show was lit and fire. So that show was a good show. So you left people with a good impression.
So
thank you.
So Orlando, when we spoke to you last, you was just about to make your millions from face masks. So you jumped on that very early.
Yes.
I know. And before you go any further about that, I heard that what's happened, like as a check being cut behind the scenes or something, because my bank account ain't full up for a promo fee, mate.
Oh, yeah, true. But I moved on to scooters, and you wasn't part of that.
Wait, what cut? I noticed Ray's wearing new designer wear after that. Actually,
is that what you think? Yeah. So Orlando, you was planning for your next shows to possibly. You had written off this year anyway. Well, 2020. I
wrote off last year anyway.
Yeah. So you was planning for 2021.
Yeah, the first gig I booked in for 2021 was another weekend, a new weekend, the Soul Disciples, which was the end of April, the beginning of May. So I'm 75% sure that's not going to happen now. But I've already booked in another date in September to move that date onwards anyway. And I've got a couple other gigs in July, August.
So how are I don't know what the format is of that weekend and whether you got artists. I suppose your DJs are pretty flexible. What about the suppliers, and what about the people who own the venue with you as well on that? Because obviously you would have to pay a deposit, so that's there. And you're collecting deposits. Yeah.
From last year.
Okay.
So the deposits are just rolled over to this year. Mm-hmm. So that's not a problem with deposits. And the majority of both the weekenders sold out last year, and this is quite interesting. The weekender in the end of April, May is predominantly Caucasian. Mm-hmm. And I've had about 10% refunds on that one.
And what's the name of that weekender?
Soul Disciples.
Soul Disciples.
Yeah, Soul Disciples. That's over the same. It's in Pakefield, over in Great Yarmouth, Pontins. Yeah.
Has it been a shock to you? Go on. Sorry. Go on.
So I've got another weekender which is July, August, which is predominantly Afro Caribbean, and I've had 50% refunds on it later on in the year. So black people are taking this whole kind of like the situation we're going through at the moment far more serious. Well, not far more seriously, but they obviously feel it's going to affect them more in the future than the Caucasian market.
How does it? I mean, for someone who does promotion events aimed at both black and white markets, how does it affect you? I suppose it must affect you when you hear the government talking about the statistics of black and Asian and minority people being affected by COVID.
From my perspective, I think that the shows I do, which are aimed primarily at the African Caribbean market, are going to suffer until things get back to real normal. Numbers will be down for large shows. I think if you're trying to attract, I don't know, 500 people, maybe that kind of figure, you'd be cool. But if it's from the time you move up to 3,000, I think you're going to see a difference in the numbers.
Whoa!
For a number of different reasons as well.
Simon, so you don't reckon? So you don't reckon, Orlando? Sorry, that there's going to be this massive urge for everybody to go out and let off steam and have a great night out and think, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Oh, it's gone. Lost him.
Same question to you then, Simon.
Yes, Simon. Yeah.
No, he's back. He's back.
Did you hear that question, Orlando? Oh, you've gone. We can't hear you at the minute. Yeah. Simon, same question to you for the minute while Orlando just sorts out his
microphone.
Yeah, his microphone.
Yeah. What in terms of do I foresee when things will come back to some form of normality?
Or do you see it affecting your audience more? Because you've got mainly a black audience that you do market to and comes to your event. So because of everything that's going on and it's affecting the black community more, or that's what the government, those are the lines that the government are putting out there. How do you think it will affect you in the future?
You know what? To be honest, I've never done a poll to check the ethnicity at my events, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but you know, it depends on the artist. It depends on the artist that I promote in terms of what the audience ethnicity is. I have to say, I do get a lot of support from all of London in particular, but even as you guys know, I do regularly go to Birmingham and Manchester as well, and the audiences are quite cosmopolitan. So, and it may vary. You get a group like Kindred and Konya Doss that may attract more of a black audience, maybe. But you move over to someone like Tidra Moses, certainly Will Downing, PJ Morton, as well, people like that. Yeah, then that goes to a predominantly white audience. So, I'm not really thinking of it in terms of how it's going to affect. Clearly, I'm concerned about it, but I'm not really in a position to break it down by ethnicity. As Orlando touched on, my events are more so in intimate venues, so smaller, typically around the sort of 500 mark. But you know what? I think whether you're doing big events, small events, it's gonna be a problem, because if I'm working, for example, at the Jazz Cafe, which has a 500 capacity, and they say to me that they can only operate on 200 people, I can't do nothing with that.
And
I can't do nothing with that.
And the 200 people is their capacity of now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think the capacity there under the restrictions was about 180.
Yeah.
Right.
And that leaves you virtually. And that leaves you virtually not possible to do any shows, really.
No, that's not even. I mean, because the thing is, the shows that I do are very, and the shows that all of us do are very high cost in terms of the capital to make it happen. And obviously, you could imagine to fly in a band, pay for hotels and all the rest of it, flights, book a venue, promote the thing. You know, and you cannot do that on the back of 150, 180 tickets.
No.
Can I ask you a question? Do you reckon that, obviously you're a very seasoned promoter, you know, you've been doing this for quite a while, you put on some great shows. Do you feel that maybe just to keep the kind of like scene going, that the Arts Council might be up for subsidizing those costs that you might lose, just so that they can have a show and have things happening? Do you reckon that's something that is possible? If you were to pitch to them?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, the thing with the Arts Council is, I have applied to them in the past, but let me put it this way. You have to speak a certain language. Yeah? You got to speak a certain language to get Arts Council funding.
Is that a foreign language?
It's not my language.
Explain that a little bit more, Simon. Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, look, the Arts Council make it extremely difficult. I know there are some that manage to do it, but they make it. I think it's extremely difficult. I mean, it's pages and pages that has to be written, and I consider myself a fairly articulate guy. You know, but for me, I find it a big struggle. So I think there's a certain skill to being able to tap in to their resources. So to answer your question, yes, it's possible, but it is extremely difficult to tap into that funding. Can
I just say something? If you need any help there, my cousin's a bid writer. She's a professional bid writer, so maybe we might be able to see if we, you know, speak to her, and maybe she might be able to help you move things along.
Orlando, are you back?
That would be amazing.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. Can you hear me now?
So, yeah, do. So Orlando, so in terms of planning for your events, if one event is mainly whites, and that's fine, but for the black, how can you plan? How can you plan? How can you put your resources into an event which you're planning for predominantly black people to turn out at, but you're not sure because of the current situation?
Well, that's there again. That's your juggling balls. The real deal is like the shows which I'm going to be holding this year for the black market will be predominantly UK based acts. That's the first thing. With obviously UK based DJs, so that whatever happens, I can get access to the acts and get access to the DJs. I'm probably going to have to end up cutting the size of the venue down to suit the cloth. What I was going to say just before my mic went haywire, I think Barbados. The real deal is that the people who I aim at, which in like plus 45s, are the ones that are getting the most of the information negative, are the ones that are suffering the most in terms of, you know, percentage casualties because of this coronavirus, and so therefore they're the ones that are the most wary. I'm getting people phoning up and saying, Orlando, even if they lift off the restrictions later on, I won't feel safe enough to come out to an event. Right. Do you know what I mean? And those are people 50, 55 and 60, and I can kind of understand where they're coming from if you take it all on board from your WhatsApp and your Facebook and your Snap and your Twitter and everything else. It's all pretty kind of negative for black people. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So what kind of things would you think about putting in place? Oh, he's gone now. He's gone. He'll be back a minute. It's just the Bayesian or the Bayesian Wi-Fi system or the Barbados Wi-Fi.
He's in the hills, that's why.
It was there. Simon, in terms of putting on a live show, and in terms of allay some of those fears, would you think about going as far as getting your staff vaccinated and asking the people who come, the people who come to listen to those shows, to be vaccinated before they come to your shows?
Do you know what? I think at the moment it's too premature to say. I mean, I work my 9 to 5. I work in for local government.
Yeah.
So you know, when I was office based, I'm currently working from home. But when I was office based, you know, there's like they've put things in place. For example, like a temperature reader that when you step into the building, you can see if you've got a temperature and things like that. So, you know, but to be honest with you, I more so see this as something. I understand the question in terms of what we can do to allay the community's fears, but I really feel that it's more so for the venues and the government to give fans that advice. I mean, I certainly won't do any event unless it's safe. You know, unless the government deems that it's safe to put on an event, I will not be putting on an event because you know, for my own safety and that of everyone else as well. So I think it's, you know, you look at the Indigos and you look at the jazz cafes. I mean, these are companies that are multi-million pounds companies, you know, and I just think personally that it's down to the venues in the same way that it is for them to have security in the venues. It's down to them to put infrastructure in place. To, you know, that's not me washing my hands of it. That's just the reality of the situation. I mean, when I book a venue, I'm paying for sound, I'm paying for security, I'm paying for a certain amount of cleanliness. That's all part of what I pay in my booking fee.
Yeah, I think you said it. I think you said it well. I think it's down to the venues to make sure their venues are safe and secure. And I think as promoters, I think it's up to us to, you know, make sure that if we're gonna put on an event, the people that's gonna come is gonna be in safe hands. So as you said, you know, we're not gonna I'm not gonna do an event, and you know, I'm not gonna do an event unless I know it's 100% safe for the artists, for the patrons who are coming, and for ourselves.
But let's be honest about it. Those are costs that someone's going to incur the costs. So if the venue incurs extra costs to make the place safe for people to come to, someone's going to have to bear those costs. And at the end of the day, we all know 90% of the time when costs rise, the customer bears the brunt of that cost. How do you feel about maybe having to put up your ticket prices to accommodate that cost, Simon?
Yeah. I mean, if the venue raise their price, I mean, obviously I have to pass that on in ticket price. I mean, most people listening in will know that somehow I managed to keep my ticket prices really, really low. So I have got a little bit of wiggle room because they were already very low. But I think the fans would understand that if we had to increase tickets by £2, £3, maybe even up to £5 to make the venue more secure for them, I think that they would. I think that they would do that. And obviously, I think from a promoter's point of view, we've got to make sure that the demand is such for that particular artist, you know, that they won't mind paying that money, you know, because you don't want to get someone that's maybe, you know, just okay, and it's like, well, I don't know if I want to pay that extra £5. Whereas if you get a stellar artist, you know, people are going to be like, no, I'll pay the extra £5 if it means I'm more secure. I think so anyway.
So Orlando. Are you back with us, Orlando?
Yeah,
Your mic. Yeah, cool. So this question, I think the question that we asked Simon before you cut out was, are you thinking of maybe having your own staff vaccinated and tested, and also maybe asking for some proof from your customers when they're coming to an event to prove that they've been vaccinated in order for an event to be more safe? Is that something that you would think about?
At the very minimum, myself and my staff will be tested, 100%. Very, very minimum. I'm also quite prepared to insist really and truly that people entering the venue have been at least tested. So that's kind of where I'm kind of, in my own mind.
Not vaccinated. Not vaccinated.
The vaccination, I think that's people's choice. That's people's choice. However, the testing, proving that you're negative, I don't think it's too untoward to ask for that as a minimum.
And if the venue put up the cost on you, will you be?
They've already threatened to do that. So, I mean, the real job is like, I think the game's going to change. I think that overall prices are going to go up once things settle down anyway. And it'll even mean that it's less shows, but the prices will be higher.
But are we in danger of having a kind of like? Oh, he's gone. Oh, God. Simon, what I was going to say to Orlando was, do you feel that we're in danger of getting into a situation where it's going to be a massive gulf between the haves and the have-nots? So the people that are able to maybe pay that extra £25 to absorb a cost for a ticket are going to be the ones. So it's going to go back to kind of like Victorian times where you only had the elite going to the shows and the poorer people left to
just before Simon answered that, just before Simon answered that, I will say though, over the past few years, there's been, especially from the bigger boys, you've seen ticket prices going up and up. So for instance, whereas you could get a seat in the O2, which was in the middle or up the back for about 40 quid, that's gone up to about 70 quid. You know, to get a decent ticket.
King's Road tickets.
Yeah, it's just gone up. So I think it was going there anyway. But I think the question is, how much more can the customer take? Because this is something that they're going to have to live with now. This is something that they're going to have to really see as costs that go up. There's going to be less people going out. Therefore, if you've got less people going out, you're going to have to put up the cost of a ticket to accommodate for whatever event, live show, function that you're putting on. And it's not just for live shows. This is for football. This is for rugby. This is for any show across the globe that has an audience participating in that. Wouldn't you say so, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's a tough one. And again, like, I don't want to sort of you know, what do they call that saying? Put the horse before the cart or whatever. Will it be in terms of the haves and the haves not? No, I don't think so. Look, what I would say to any of my customers is I'm a working class guy, and I will always put on, if I can't do events that are for the people, I won't do it. And that's the honest truth. I've never, you know.
Yeah, but should we be saluting that? Should we be? Hold on, Simon. But should we be saluting that? Because what you do is niche, and what you do in terms of bringing out some of them artists, they wouldn't even see the light of day here for some of our patrons to come and visit that. So actually, we don't want you to not do anything. We do want to support you. We do want you to keep putting on these shows.
Yeah. No, I get that, but again, I think it's important to price things affordably. I mean, I do get people saying to me, that, you know, sorry, is
you're selling it too cheap. Yeah, you're selling it too cheap. Look, I remember.
Sorry, Mike, go on.
I remember when you did Legacy at the Jazz Cafe, and the tickets were like, when I first saw it, I'm sure it was like £22. And I said to myself,
27. Yeah, 27.50.
I said, oh, that's too cheap. But that must have been your dearest ticket that you've ever done for a Jazz Cafe.
Yes, I mean, I think for Legacy it was 27.50 standing, and I believe it was about 35 seating. So
I mean, that's pretty standard for Jazz Cafe, though.
No, but Simon's tickets are really reasonable prices.
That's what I'm saying. That's pretty standard for Jazz Cafe, because the last time I paid for a ticket at Jazz Cafe, it was about £36.
And on that artist, and for those series of shows, I think it was like 4 nights sold out in London. Can I just say, I salute you for that. That's one of the best concerts the UK has witnessed. So just for putting that on, I just want to say, I salute you.
You haven't been to that many, then, Eastlander?
You wouldn't know, Reggie. You couldn't afford it.
Orlando, you back with us, yeah?
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can. We can. Yeah. We were just talking about
the configuration. So let's see how we get on with this.
Okay, we was just talking about the pricing of an event. Yeah. For you, do you see your costs going up?
I do. I think the costs will have to go up to absorb the prices, which are going to be going up anyway. Things are going to start going up, regardless, whether it's because of coronavirus, whether it's because of Brexit, whether it's because of travel restrictions, extra costs for visas, extra costs for flights. Things are going to start going up. You know what I mean?
But can I just say, Orlando?
Yeah.
But Orlando, I heard you say earlier on that you're going to cut the size down of the venue. How is that going to be affordable?
That's right. Well, that's a different side of the argument. I'm going to cut the size down of the venues, because I actually think that for the black audience, I think the market for a little while is going to be a little depressed. That's why I said that.
And do you,
I don't
based
think,
on
I
that,
think, getting 2,000-3,000 people is going to be a bit difficult. I think I can get 500 to 1,000.
Yeah, but,
you know what I mean?
But based on that, is the venue going to give you a reduction in hire fee?
I'll have to change venue.
No way.
Oh, so that's a no. You're just going to change. You're going to look for an alternative venue.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what it is. Let's say I think to say, I don't know, Jan at the Indigo, for argument's sake. Their venue in normal circumstances can go 2,800. I can't turn around to him and say to him, Jan, I think I can only pull 1,000 people now. Give me a reduction.
Yeah.
Why would he?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. The fact that the government has given all these big venues all this money to compensate them, to compensate them through this time.
Sound, etc.
Royal Albert Hall,
and it's been a good portion of money. Do you think they've got
massive money?
Isn't that money supposed to keep the higher fee at the same rate?
No, it's to keep their staff.
It's paid,
isn't it?
But I see what people at the moment are on furlough, aren't they? Because they're not working.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
That's
they're
correct.
Taking that money from the furlough and they're carrying on their life as if they was working normally. True. If I was a venue and the government gave me money to compensate for the fact that I'm not open, then as far as I'm concerned, that's just paying me because I'm not open, not to make sure that in the future I can supplement promoters. That's just the other side of the coin. Of course, I would love it if they gave us all a discount. Absolutely love it. I think they should. My hands up in the air for that. Do I think they will? No, I don't.
Yeah. And Simon, same for you. Jazz Cafe. Yeah. Are they going to put up their higher fee, or are they going to, because that's crowdfunding that Jazz Cafe's done. They've raised quite a bit of money for their survival for the next 5 years.
Yeah, they have. But I haven't seen anything at the moment about prices increasing. So I think, maybe as time goes on and maybe once we hopefully come out of this pandemic, maybe that's something they'll do, because obviously they would have lost a lot of money and they may have to put in measures to take on more staff that makes it more expensive. But at the end of the day, there is a ceiling. I understand the point that Orlando's made in terms of prices will inevitably go up. But from my point of view, there's a ceiling. If I mention the big boys on the block, the Live Nations, they put on a show, I can't remember, tail end of last year. They did, what's the girl? She did Brixton. Shea Butter Baby. What's her name, man?
Ari Lennox.
Ari
There we
Lennox.
go. Ari Lennox. Right now, you talk to me about now. They did that at £17.50. You know, £17.50. So at the end of the day, for the likes of me, that's trying to compete, you know, with you two guys, and also compete with the big boys as well.
Did you say you two guys?
Oh, you two. Yeah. Well, I compete. We're competing. We're in the same market. It's competing. You know, I have to. There's a natural limit to our tickets. I mean, even a stellar act like Ledisi, if I priced it at 50 quid, people would not go.
Yeah, you got a ceiling price, innit?
Yeah, they would now after that last performance, though.
Well, maybe.
But Simon, and then I'll go to Orlando afterwards to answer the question. Are the venues for us going to be there?
Well, it depends. In answer to that, I'll tell you why. I mean, at the moment, I'm still in communication with Jazz Cafe, but one of the smaller venues that I have been working at, the future is not as secure. So to answer your question, it really depends on the venue and the type of backing they have. I mean, the Jazz Cafe are part of a group that's owned by Colombo, and they own like a multi-million-pound portfolio of venues. So I would have thought that they would be in a position, despite their crowdfunder, I would have thought that they would be in a position, they're well placed to weather the storm. But some of the smaller independent venues are going to struggle to get through this 100%. I mean, if you look at somewhere like Islington Assembly Hall, that's attached to Islington Council.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine. But, you know, you're going to have some venues that won't survive this for sure.
Sorry, Orlando, how's it looking for you and your venues that you've got? Do you think there'll be venues for you to choose from?
Well, the ones I've been speaking to, which is predominantly the O2, the Hideaway over in Streatham, and the larger, what they call resorts, you know, Butlins and Pontins and all that. All of them are basically saying the same thing to me, that at the moment, it's not looking brilliant. They'll survive, but there's going to be changes when they come back. And that's what they've all kind of said to me so far. But obviously, everyone's keeping it. Everyone's on the vibe of, well, let's see what happens with the government, what changes in the blah, blah, blah. As it stands at the moment, none of them are really, really optimistic. The prices will stay the same or demand will be the same.
Okay, so
only time will tell.
Okay, so Orlando and Simon, time to put on your crystal ball. I want you to gaze into the future. When do you realistically see us getting out and having a party? And I don't know I don't think it's the right way of marketing, because I think there's going to be levels to getting out. I don't think it's just going to be a free-for-all. But when are you planning to have your first venue, your first event, and what do you think it will look like?
Orlando.
Was that to me or Orlando?
All right,
that to me?
I think I'm
Orlando first.
I'm 70% sure about the event in July, August. I'm 80% sure about the one in September, and I'm 95% sure about the Giants in October.
Okay, and you, Simon?
Well, my next event is scheduled for March. And, it wouldn't be fair for me to say live now without communicating first to the customers. I'm not going to.
So you're saying March? Quite a few people. Just a note. Quite a few people online in the chat are putting in 2022. I've seen somebody say 2023. I think it was Tasha Minion Nadine said 2023 is when they reckon they'll be outdoors again. Obviously, we know Glastonbury's just cancelled their event, but that's a big event. That's like 100,000 people, so I wouldn't expect that to go ahead in July.
250,000 people Glastonbury.
Yeah, but
they only really cancelled because they wasn't guaranteed the business insurance. Yeah, that's why they really cancelled it. They couldn't get the insurance.
But also, do you know another thing which you haven't taken into consideration? which we probably have actually, but we haven't discussed, is the actual artists, international artists themselves. Will they be able to fly in, and will the borders be open?
Well, I think that's part of the question. I think the more issue for these two promoters and EastEnder is, if you have an artist booked, do you have to fly them in 10 days before? Because then if you're going to hold them up in a hotel for 10 days at least before the show, then that's 10 days that you're going to have to pay for per night, per whatever the rider is. Is that affordable?
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, it's not really affordable. And if to make it affordable, just going to have to pass it on, and then it makes your ticket price a little bit too high in these turbulent times. So for me, I don't think it's feasible.
Orlando?
Yeah, I think as I said before, international artists for me at the moment, that's a no-no for now. It's all going to be UK-based acts for now. To be honest with you, I can't really see how you're going to make it viable with an international act.
So Simon.
It's pretty.
Sorry, we're laughing. It's not funny. It's actually because there's a lot of UK people that get work off of your events that incorporate international artists. So I mean, like we're smiling, but it's a smile that it's a nervous smile. It's a it's a smile that it's a worrying smile, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the whole quarantine thing will make it probably next to impossible to put on a show, because to put someone up for an extra 10 days and all of that. I mean, for me at the moment, I'm just waiting to see how things develop. I mean, I saw something pop up on the feed in terms of a question of someone asking, what if they tested positive after they bought a ticket? And I think one of the things that will definitely change will be that the terms and conditions of ticket purchase. So that will definitely change, because obviously no one foresaw this coming. It's a once in 100 years event. No one saw it coming, so we weren't prepared for it. Not even the biggest of companies were prepared for it. Going forward, I believe that will change, and it will make it easier for the customer to get full refunds, because you're going to need to give people that peace of mind. You can get a full refund at any time.
Yeah, but who's gonna? Okay, fine, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Who's going to pay for that? Is that the insurance? Because most small time promoters don't have insurance for that. So if you're going to give back money to people who produce a certificate for COVID, will you as a promoter then give back money for people who produce a certificate for any other illness that they might have prior to your event? Because then it falls into the same thing. So as a event promoter, this is very scary, because if it's how do we put something in place to accommodate those kind of costs?
I think what will happen is that this will need to become more of an elite business, in terms of only certain people are going to be able to do it, because your event will need to be of a certain caliber. So that, for example, look at the show that I'm doing for Will Downing. Pretty much all of the tickets had sold out before he had come here. So even if I have 10% of people that are unable to come for whatever reason, there's still strong demand to be able to meet that need. Now, for example, you have the your all white cocoa, which is very successful every year. I'm sure if 10% of them couldn't go for whatever reason, you'd have a waiting list, because your event sells out way in advance. So what I'm saying is,
so it would be a secondary ticket
levels have just got to go up. Yeah.
So would it be a secondary ticket selling
to an extent that? Will it be because you would have refunded one person their ticket, and you will then resell that ticket. Yeah. So I would be happy to do that, to give people peace of mind. We're going to have to do that.
Can I just say,
if you look at things,
go Go on, Simon. Finish.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that even when I've looked at things like holidays and stuff, if you look at their terms and conditions now, it has a COVID clause that said you can get a full refund at any time. Like obviously within 28 days of travel or something like that, or within
They want the business.
If it was a gig, I would be saying, right, up until 48 hours before, you can have free cancellation, and that's fine. No problem.
So, I mean, everything just sounds, I mean, I don't want to be a naysayer. I don't want to be like, you know, everything's just on a negative vibe. There's got to be positives that come out of any situation. It's not all bad. There's got to be some things that come out of it. Streaming, does live streaming work for you, Simon? Is that something that you might consider?
In one word, no. It hasn't worked. I mean, I did do something with a lovely UK artist called Deborah Debs back in October.
You got Deborah.
And, you know, we had a nice little turnout, but, you know, the fans want to be there. And the reality is, and I just did another event actually with, Part did an event with Eric Benet, Marsha Ambrosius and Sean Stockman. You know, which again was a nice turnout. They're all high profile artists, but you cannot replace being there in person. And so it's limited.
It's interesting you say that actually, because I was just recently on a Clubhouse conversation last week, and quite a few of the American promoters and booking agents were talking about this similar thing about the online space and how far they can take it. And the key factor was that people were saying that yes, they can do it once, but they can't do it twice or three times over, because you know it gets stale. Because how many times can an artist reinvent their show?
Yes, yeah. So you know,
Orlando.
Yeah.
What are the positives for you? What are the positives going forward? Obviously, one of them will be you won't have so much promoters to be competing with. As bad as it sounds, it is. It is the fact. Do you think the venues will be more flexible for you now, in terms of pricing, in terms of hire?
I think that the venues that are struggling, the venues that are struggling to get business in, they'll have to give you a good deal. They've got no option. Otherwise, they're not going to get the business in. So, perspective, yeah, it's going to be positive. I also believe that sooner or later, we are going to get back to a level of normality. I truly do believe it. It's just that it's been put back a bit. But we will, I think the positive thing to pass to the public is, it's like the war, like having a war. People are when they're in the war, they never think it's going to end. But guess what? It does end. And things do get back to normal after a little period of time. And things will 100% get back to normal. Do you know what I mean? But it's going to take a little period of time.
Yeah.
I have a question for Simon and.
If I could just.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Simon.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say there, one of the things that maybe we haven't taken into consideration as well is that the clamour for venues is going to be immense. Because even now, all of the shows that were cancelled before they could be delivered for the rest of 2020, it's going to be, you know, your big boys, your Live Nations and people like that are going to have the first pick, and they may not be able to do the big venues. They're going to be coming down to the smaller venues as well. So one of the things as well that's going to make it difficult is that the book, like for me, you know, getting a date, because it's all like all of these the whole of 2020 has been moved into 2019. So we could be waiting for a very especially at those popular 2021. We could be waiting a very long time, particularly for the very popular venues like Jazz Cafe and the O2.
It's funny though, you know, we're talking about the clubs and they're, you know, it's going to be hard, but during this time, there's going to be some clubs that don't make it. And now my pockets are not that deep, and Simon's pockets ain't as deep as Orlando's. But with these clubs disappearing, isn't it an opportunity for us to get a club?
So were you proposing something now, Eastern?
Well, no, Orlando.
Consortium.
No, I know
I'll put in 100 quid now.
I know that Orlando is like, Orlando thinks big. He thinks big. So if one of these nice venues were going up for sale, Orlando, is that something you would want to get yourself into?
Yeah. But that's weird actually. I was talking to somebody about 2 weeks ago about this very same thing, and I think you're right. There's a big opportunity going to come up for venues, and I think that the right-minded set of people. I don't think one person could take it all on, but the right set of people could take it on and make something really worthwhile. Actually,
Simon, that sounds like an invitation.
There's going to be opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, opportunities.
There is an
opportunities knock.
On board. It's something we want to talk about because I think it's going to be way forward. A club that's ours that we can access. Be real. You know what I mean? If you look at say the 16 at the Royal Lounge. I don't know if he owns it or if he's a manager or whatever, but what I do know, he's got enough position there so that people can access the venue all of the time. Is that correct, Michael? You use it a lot, don't you?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah, repeat the question. No, repeat the question.
I said, you say like how Fix It has got Royal Lounge.
Yeah.
You use the venue quite a lot, didn't you?
I do, yes.
So basically, you've got a black person in charge of the venue, which means we can get access to the venue. So I 100% believe that if we can come together as a group and buy a venue, it'll be beneficial for all of us. And
100%. 100%. And I put my cards on the table. I'm happy to invest my little £100 into the project. So if we find that, I'm up.
So, gentlemen, I've got a couple of questions to ask you.
It might come down to like a little crowdfunding thing, but amongst the people that are interested in it, and that may be the way forward.
I've got a couple of questions to ask you each before we close the show today. Orlando, you were very vocal on Small Acts on the Lovers Rock part of the series, the third one. What was your angst against the show?
It wasn't Lovers Rock. I've never been to a Lovers Rock party in my life that was ever like that. I don't know why he put in elements into the storyline which was so negative for black people, the portrayal of black people. I just didn't get it. Why he done that? There was no need to do that. Why did you take it there? You had total autonomy, regardless of what people say. With Steve McQueen, he's an Oscar-winning Academy director. The BBC was grateful that he came on board. He took that and he ran with that based on advice from people. I don't know where they were coming from, maybe Mars, but that wasn't the world that we lived in when it came to Lovers Rock. And it's not artistic license. It was the small art. It was rubbish.
You do Giants of Lovers Rock.
Was right.
So Orlando, you do Giants of Lovers Rock. Was there any Lovers Rock artists that you talked to that actually liked? Not one.
The only Lovers Rock artist who came back to me and said, came back to me in a way and kind of like, oh well, I didn't really have much to do was Dennis Bavell. No one else,
because he was in it.
The Lovers Rock universe,
because he was acting in it. He was acting in it.
And I spoke to about at least 70 artists. I'm quite interested to know if it was just me. Not one artist liked the program, and they are the foundation of Lovers Rock. I don't even know one DJ that liked it. So it was Lovers Rock.
Again, Orlando, another opportunity. Another opportunity. Lovers Rock. The movie. Lovers Rock, the movie.
I know. Yeah. Shout out to the fellas. You still good at advice. There's a guy that approached me afterwards and said he wants to fund the Lovers Rock film, and he's got funding in, I think it's in Cyprus. So it's something that we're actually looking at maybe for later on in the year as well.
Excellent.
So I'll keep you tuned in that one, 100%.
Simon, are you one of the many people out there who are now investing in Bitcoin?
Or Tesla. Simon's got Tesla stock, man. He's all right. He's got Tesla.
No, I'm not on Bitcoin.
Okay, so just to be clear,
there's another one that's called blockchain.
No. Hold on. Get it straight. Blockchain No. You're getting confused. Blockchain is the technology. What Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. So
right. But I'm not part of Bitcoin. I think I was on the bus too late for that one.
So where's your future lie, Simon? So where's your future lie and your future investments lie then?
Yeah, my future lies in the fact that I have thankfully a very good standing amongst the artists that I work with. So I'll be trying to work and stick to what my strong points are. So, for example, I mentioned at the start, for the benefit of those that have just joined, I'm launching an e-zine, an online magazine, on the 1st of March. That's going to be called Inside Indie Soul. I've set up a PR branch to what I do, like I say, to service, last year is recognized as being fantastic in terms of the amount of music released. And this year is probably going to be similar because people have been locked inside their homes and studios. So there's a lot of new music that needs to come out. So, that's
Soul Brick trending, Simon.
Soul Brick trending,
Soul Brick. Why? What was the need for that?
What was the need?
And first of all,
you ain't got that long. In the East, you ain't got that long. You ain't got that long. So cut that and let him speak, please.
Yes. All right. What was the need for it? There's a lot of politics on the soul scene in terms of the charts that's currently out there. And it was with my new business ventures, I could see in advance that it was very necessary for me to sort of create my own path, if that answers the question.
No, it didn't really. Tell me a bit more.
What are you trying to say? That there's a conglomerate happening out there.
There you go. There is, look, I don't want to put myself in.
I'm only joking. You don't need to.
I got a big up. Can I just say, big up to Hill Street Soul, #1 on one of these charts on Amazon.
Yes.
She got with a higher players cover. So big up to Hill Street Soul, #1 R&B chart on Amazon. But can I just ask a question in relation to promotions? Do you feel that this year, quickly, just in a short answer, but do you feel that abroad raving holidays are going to be a lot more easier to do because other territories are open up? So, for instance, Orlando's in Barbados. I know a lot of people went over to Barbados for Christmas, for holidays, and also Dubai. Do you think that's an option for you guys for this year?
Well, because of Brexit, I know, because I
maybe not for this
Paris. Yeah, sorry. Because of Brexit, I normally go to Paris and Amsterdam on a regular basis to do shows. I know the government's made it very difficult because permits and stuff are now going to be
freedom of movement.
So freedom of movement. So that's going to be very difficult. And personally, whether it's international or domestic, I'm not doing anything until it's safe to do so.
Okay. Orlando, the same?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'm staying in a place called Shades in Barbados, and the guy that owns it, a guy called Errol. We was talking about shows in Barbados and the fact that because of Brexit, shows in Europe are going to become very restricted. Because the airlines are going to be trying to recoup some of their money back that they've lost, they're going to make flights reasonable. And maybe the way forward is doing shows at places like Barbados. There's a network of great apartments, great hotels, so you can do the deal. There's great clubs, so you can do the deal. And they haven't been ravaged as badly as Europe has in terms of COVID. So maybe that's the way forward. We can make it financially viable for the public to say, this is worthwhile. Then
So Orlando mentioned that he's working with UK artists. Simon said he did Deborah Debs, but with what's going on, isn't it going to be a great opportunity for all of us promoters to take the opportunity to support more UK artists?
Yeah.
And put them on more shows and stuff like that.
Yes.
Put them on more shows, get them headline more shows. Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, go on, Orlando.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I think obviously Giants Love was always mostly UK artists anyway. Sorry, Simon, carry on.
Yeah, no, I would say
UK,
to
I mean,
that,
UK.
Sorry,
Right, who's talking, Simon? Are you talking?
Go.
Simon, go ahead. Go ahead.
Simon, you go.
Right, okay.
Right.
Okay. So, yes, I would love to support UK acts more, but look, I'm from London, born and bred. But what I would say is that the levels have to be very good. I mean, we've got a handful, and the levels are very good.
They're getting better,
Simon. It's better
Yeah.
than it's ever been. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to put an act on just because they're English.
No,
They
no.
have to be, it's a serious business of,
No, that is standard. But I say that because one, I look at your UK soul Brits trending, and there's quite a lot of UK artists in that chart.
Yeah,
there's a lot in there, and 9 times out of 10, if that was like 3 or 4 years ago, it wouldn't have been that so many in there. So I think obviously the music is getting better.
If I compare it to the football analogy, a manager just wants to know that a player coming in can perform and hit the ground running. So for me as a promoter, I just want to know, yes, you're really good. Can you fill a venue? And once I'm confident that you can fill a venue, then I'll book you. I don't care where you're from.
Right. That's a great.
What was you saying that?
Hold on. Thank you, guys.
You can book Reggie now.
Simon and Orlando, we've come to the end of the show. We come to the end. I got my producers in my ears. Before you go, Orlando, where can people get hold of you if they want to find you?
In Barbados.
Maya Motley.
Musical therapy entertainment.com. Always on Facebook as well. Everyone's got my telephone number, so you get me on WhatsApp, Messenger, Signal, or whatever happens to, or Telegram, whatever happens to be the new fashionable one at the moment. So, I mean, getting hold of me is never a problem. I'm always there anyway. Nothing to hide from.
Okay. Thanks a lot. And Simon?
So musical therapy put that in.
And Simon?
Same for me. I've got the website soulgigs.com, but very accessible via the 3 main social media platforms. I refuse to do all the rest of them. I do Instagram at #SoulGigs, Facebook, and also Twitter. So again, very accessible.
All right, thank you a lot. Thanks, guys. It's been a blast having you. Friends of Set the Trend. I hope you go out and multiply your pockets, your customer base, and everything else, because we definitely will still be supporting you in 2021 or 2022 or 2023, because you've always supported guys like DJs like us, which I know that you've had on your gigs, as well as laid out the red carpet for me, like when I've come to your venues and your events. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot, Simon. Orlando Gittens, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. That was great. Take care. Now, has anybody else got a pair of pearly white teeth like Orlando Gittens? That's what
Orlando. You know what? I couldn't stop laughing every time he's looking into the camera.
Pearly white teeth, bro. He's got a set of pearly whites there. But they're 2 of our biggest promoters that we have out there doing things on the circuit. Make sure they're bringing to us, like artists, whether international or nationally, they're bringing artists and keeping artists alive out there. So, guys, I mean, I think we need to support them as much as possible. We're managing the way that we now access and go out and be amongst venues once we come out of this.
I just hope it doesn't become into an elitist thing, entertainment. By the end of the year, that's all.
No, look, it won't be. And if it gets, we know how to adapt. We've been on I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I grew up on Struggle Street. If it gets hard, we go back to what we did when it was hard.
What, the halls? We're going to have shows, Kindred Family Soul in the town hall.
Listen, what you guys have got to remember, what people have got to remember is that by nature, our human nature is to associate, is to be around people, is to be coming out, and that's just part of our nature. I don't think it's going to stop. Some people will have to address how they do that, because for them it will be dangerous, and it's like anything else. When you have a risk, you need to assess it and see, well, how much do I really need to go out and be at this particular event? But I think for the majority of people, they're still going to want to come out
100.
and go to an event and associate, whether that be live music, whether that be in a club with a DJ, whether that be in the local pub or the local wine bar, food or a restaurant. So,
and and can we say, the messages are coming through. Richard Franklin, I saw a couple of nice messages coming through. Everyone who supported us today in the show.
Good to be back.
It's brilliant.
Good to be back.
Who did I just see? I wanted to shout out someone. Where's it gone?
I saw
we got the Soul du Jour.
Yep.
Lolly, Soul du Jour, Sandra Prescott. There's the Dean, Prue, quite a few of the faithful regulars.
Yeah, Gloria said,
McLean.
She says support, we always try and support at all times.
We've got to support. This is the only way that we're going to get through it. We've got to support each other. And unfortunately, for everybody, one of the price that we're going to have to pay for not only COVID and for Brexit is that things will be more expensive for a little while. And that's just the facts of the matter. And that's not just clubbing. That's going to be, I think, most things that we go and we want to purchase as a day-to-day thing. So
yes,
it is what it is. And
it can work in the favor of the local community. I think it will work in the favor of the local community as well, because people will start to become more local, and especially me making the choice between Real Jerk and Novikov.
On the real, there's going to be a lot of people. A lot of our community are entrepreneurs. They have their own business. They do their own thing.
Oh yeah,
they're going to make it happen.
There's some great things happening. There's some great things happening.
So next week, we go on to next week. Our guest next week, our Basil Links. He owns Pempanzi, which is a health shop that's been doing roaring trade in the four corners of London. And he'll be talking to us about his trade and how health has become a big fashion, more than it was before in COVID. And he's also an ex-promoter for us. He used to do the Amsterdam getaways, the Amsterdam weekenders back in the day. So we'll be talking a bit about music and a bit about promoting as well as. And of course, I think everybody knows Lee Jasper, activist, public speaker, and he's also a DJ. So we'll be talking a little bit about music. We'll be testing his knowledge next week as well. We'll be talking to Lee Jasper. He'll be right here on Set the Trend.
Lee Jasper, musically, was one of the first guys I saw doing Facebook Live, playing music on Facebook before
it became a fashion, before it became a thing.
Yeah.
And also the week after that, we've got our very own DJ Yardi from Baseline.
That's gonna be big.
9 FM.
Reminisce.
Part of Reminisce, and co-owner and sole owner at one time of Baseline 97.9. I don't see his fly coming in. No doubt he'll be on to me later on saying, see, you lot are doing it here. And like me, that is the backroom stuff. I don't know where that fly has gone because it turned up at the beginning. And
it's a great picture as well.
It's a great picture as well. So DJ Yardi from Baseline 97.9 will be in the building on February the 6th, I think it is, Saturday, February 6th, at our new time, Saturday Night Live with the boys, Set the Trend podcast on Facebook, like and share, and also on YouTube. Please follow us on YouTube and like and share that as well.
And if we haven't had the opportunity, if I haven't had the opportunity, or the guys haven't had the opportunity, I'd like to say Happy New Year.
There it is. There.
Everyone who's on the feed.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Kushe.
Hey. Who's that? Shug Knight.
Producers.
Thank you.
Great. We'll be looking forward to that one. I tell you that much. He's got a lot to say. So, lads, what you doing going forward? Reggie, what you doing tomorrow? I know you've got a DJ show tomorrow, haven't you?
Yeah, I got my radio show tomorrow, London Soul Radio, which I'm going to be doing 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, playing the best in slow jams and UK R&B and soul, and just getting on with work. Really, that's it. I've got a few backroom interests to announce soon, but they'll be ready soon. I forgot to say also, hopefully next week we might be doing a bit of a kind of like 45-minute after chat on Clubhouse. So look out. We might be
look forward to that.
hosting our own clubhouse room, which we can then talk to people, and it'd be great to converse with all the guys online as well. So look out for that.
Go and download Clubhouse app. It's a new app, and it gets you into rooms, and you can actually talk to people. There's no writing; it's just talking to people. EastEnder, what are you up to?
Tomorrow, do my 10K walk and then
Go on.
prepare myself for my.
You believe him? EastEnder walking 10K.
Well, I have
EastEnder eating for 10Ks. Yeah.
What's that going to take him till 8 o'clock?
10K walk and then get ready for my Tuesday night Facebook live stream, 10 p.m. till who knows when.
Very important though. You're supposed to get out and do some exercise. Very, very, very important on that one. You can catch me tomorrow morning with the Breakfast Blues. I'm up at 9 a.m. in the morning till 12 midday.
Can we get a great show?
Can we get a sneak preview? What's in the Situation Room?
The Situation Room. The Situation Room is a tribute to Mikey MJR. That's what we're doing.
Okay, wicked.
We're doing a little musical tribute for him tomorrow.
I'm going to send you a record actually, so that you can hopefully try and fit in. Because now that your show is so popular, I want to give you a record to premiere.
Because I wouldn't want people to think that you're sending me old tunes like I ain't got them. You know what I mean? Like, Ray just talks it. You get me? But send me the new tunes, please do. You can catch me across Fifth Avenue Official across everything: Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. No. Anyway,
oh god,
they're just unruly. They come back and they're unruly. I think you don't know which producer actually did that. Once upon a time I could have told you, but now no. Anyway, thanks to our backroom staff. We're here. The boys are back 10 o'clock every Saturday. I'm going off to watch Mikey MJR's tribute on King Tubby's on Facebook. Make sure you get involved in that as well. I don't know if there's any parties going on tonight. There probably is. Someone will be hanging out on Zoom or doing something else.
There'll probably be a Manchester United winners party tomorrow.
Like there was an Arsenal winners party today, yeah? Okay.
You walked right into that one.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Thank you a lot.
Don't forget to like and share.
Like and share. Set the Trend podcast. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Mm-hmm.